Welcome in, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide, and we are here another week. Celtics off of, they've started their playoff series, and Red Sox, they're right in the middle of their season as it seems like it's flying by. The games are flying by. So let's get right into the Red Sox and also some Patriots talk at the end. Let's get right into the Red Sox. Still a little inconsistent so far to start the season. You know, it seems like they win one game, then they lose one, or they might win two and lose one. They're still right around that 500 mark, so it's not a big deal. Not a lot to panic about. It's been a pretty good season. You're not going to get out of the gate 10-2 every year. Yeah,
I mean, definitely right now 7-5 with all the sickness issues they had early on, some bereavement, a lot of guys not playing, probably about 5 or so games sort of in the middle. So, I mean, 7-5, that's a pretty good record. And, you know, they're still missing guys like Jackie Bradley Jr., David Price, Thorburn, Carson Smith. So, I mean, they're going to get a lot of help back. So, to me, 7-5 is very successful.
Okay, let's talk about the offense. We were talking about this a little bit before we started the show, and their offense has been interesting. Very good average and on-base percentage, but not a lot of power. So they're not walking, or they're not striking out. They're walking, so they're doing well. But that lack of power, is that going to be a concern, do you think? Or do you think it's just one of those things where they'll go through slumps here and there?
It is a little concerning, but batting average-wise, I think they're second in the league. I think as a team, they're hitting like 280, so that's really good. And you know, and they're scoring runs just different ways. I think last year there was some more power. But obviously without Big Papi, that's a big hole, and we're really seeing that right now. But it's funny, so they've hit 6 home runs, which is the lowest in all the majors, and Pablo Sandoval's hit 3 of those, but he's hitting under 200 right now.
Yeah, he's still batting pretty
So it's kind
of
a weird season for him, but you know, it's a little strange, but I don't think it's a big deal. They're scoring runs. You know, we've seen them come back in a lot of games down late in the game. So to me, it's a little concerning, but I don't think it's a big deal.
Right, and I'd rather be on that side of it where you're hitting the ball and you're getting on base and not hitting home runs, rather than the other way where it's every other hit's a home run, but you're going to go cold at some point, and you know, I'd rather have that consistency. One guy who's been pretty impressive is Mitch Moreland. When we talked about him before the season and he was coming over here, it was going to be all glove, no hitting. But he's really done his part, both defensively been very good and offensively been a surprise, batting over at 350 or something. Leading the league in doubles at one point, hit a home run over the weekend. So he's a pleasant surprise. He
is, yeah, and I think the first 3 or 4 games he was the only Red Sox player without a hit. And so it was kind of like, oh, is this bat ever going to come around? And then all of a sudden he was like 3 for 4, 2 for 4, and a bunch of straight games, and he had like 8 or 9 straight doubles, and he leads the league, like you said, in doubles. So he's really come around nicely, and it's really a pleasant surprise. And Gold Glove at first base, obviously, that's huge too. And so, yeah, he's looked great. It's a great pickup.
So we'll transition. We'll stick on the first base thing. There was some talk earlier this year that, this week, that Hanley might not play as much first base as they originally thought, partly because of the injury. He had been injured, but also because he doesn't really like playing first base and he wants to DH. Do you think that's a problem, or is that, first, that's just what he's saying and he's going to make it work? But he seems engaged. He's hitting the ball well. He's focused. So I don't think it's an attitude thing. But do you think it could be a problem if they have to bring somebody else to play first base?
Has he said he doesn't like playing first? Has he said that?
He kind of said it. He kind of hinted at it. But he also did say whatever coach wants, whatever John Farrell wants. So I'm not. He wasn't like in a negative saying, you know, and everyone's saying, oh well, he's pouting or something like that. But it's not ideal.
And last year, you know, his first time at first base, he did very well. You know, it wasn't Gold Glove, but he was not a problem at all. He was very solid at first base. So to me, you know, we've really seen him thrive when he only hits, when he's playing that DH spot. So, I mean, I think when he does have to play first, I think it'll be fine. I think he'll kind of be like what he was last year, maybe a little rusty since he's not doing it every day, but you know, when he does have to play first, I don't think they'll have to bring somebody in.
And I'm sure he's not going to play all the time. He might play, I don't even know if he play once a week, really. Because especially if Moreland's hitting this good, you don't want to take his bat out of the lineup. Even if it is against the lefty. So, okay, so going over to the other side of the diamond, you talked about him, Pablo Sandoval, and he's kind of had a struggle start with, he hits home runs but not average. Does he get a couple months to stay in as a starter before they do anything? I mean, he's playing decent on defense. He's playing hard. He's lost some weight, so it's a lot better than last year. But is it maybe give him a couple months to pick that average up?
Absolutely. And you know, those 3 home runs, at least 2 of them were late inning or yesterday, I guess, was the middle of the
Yeah.
game, but they were go-ahead big home runs that we really
Right.
needed to get back into the game. So I think he's leading the club in home runs and runs batted in, I believe. So definitely give him a few months. To be an everyday player,
Right.
he didn't really play at all last
But
year.
he hasn't played in a whole year.
Right, exactly. So he's still adjusting a little bit, but if he's going to hit 200 but still hit these clutch home
Right.
runs and still look very good at third,
Right,
to
he's
me,
done fine,
you
yeah.
give him time, definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but the Boston media, they want to get him out of there as soon
Yeah.
as they can, but I think
Right.
he'll get a couple months to try it out. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Red Sox pitching staff, how good they've been. The bullpen's been a very good surprise, so we'll talk about that when we come back. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.